Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hi everybody, my name is Cassidy Sledge. I am currently working as a dungeon master and tavern keeper in an off-Broadway Dungeons & Dragons show known as Dungeons & Dragons, the 20-Sided Tavern. It's running through May 11th, and after that we will be going on tour. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about one of my favorite video games of all time. That's right, I'm talking about Toontown Rewritten, or for you original fans out there, Toontown Online. So Toontown is an MMORPG that existed in the late 2000s. It was created by Disney originally, and what you would do in the game is you would create your own player character, and you had your choice of animal that you could portray. There were cats, dogs, mice, bears, horses, mules, something like that. And then there were later additions of reindeer and alligators. Very exciting things. My first character I ever created was a yellow mouse, and I named her Twinkle Flinkleberry. Yes, 10-year-old me had excellent taste. And then Disney realized that I don't think the project was as lucrative for them as they would have hoped. So they shut down the online gaming platform. And someone a few years later recreated the entire game, like from the ground up. They recoded it and they nicknamed it Toontown Rewritten. And my brother is a year older than me. So we were a 21 and 22-year-old jumping back into this world back during the pandemic. We created new characters. He was a blue duck named Mr. Awesome. And I was like, oh, I love that energy. So I made a yellow dog and I named her Miss Chill. And so Miss Chill, the yellow dog, is my primary player character as of right now. I adore her tremendously. Essentially, what you do during the game is you have several tracks that you can choose to train in your character. These tracks are essentially attacks that you can make against your enemies in the game. And the enemies in the game are robots that we refer to as cogs. And as a child, you are living in the whimsy of the world. You are appreciating how fun and silly and colorful your characters are. And you see how gray and drab and dreary these robots are. And you're like, man, I gotta destroy them with fun. As an adult, the puns that the cogs are created from are so funny. And I think that was the true marker of my transition from childhood to adulthood was my perception of these enemies. Originally as a child, I'm like, man, you guys stink. As an adult, I get such a kick out of them. I think they are so funny. They really, oh boy, they just tickle my funny bone. For example, one of the attacks that you can use is it's a remote that kind of takes control of the cog's brains and makes it so that they attack the other enemies around them. They turn them against themselves. And one way that the cogs receive attacks is by anything silly or fun. So when they attack each other, they tell each other knock-knock jokes and other awful, terrible puns. And the way that the other cogs respond is so funny. They're like, somebody call HR. It's so good. It is so hilarious. I get such a kick out of it. But I digress. Getting back on track, talking about tracks. The fascinating way that this game balances the characters is that there are 7 tracks available. Hold on, let me think. There's tune-up, there's trap, there's lure, there's throw, there's squirt, there's drop. I think that's all. Oh, and there's sound. Yes. So there's 7 of them. So there's 7 different methods of attacking that you can choose to train your character in. You cannot choose all 7. So regardless of how far you are in the game, at maximum, you can only have 6 tracks, which is really fascinating depending on what kind of play style you have. For example, I will always opt for a support character. I will always prioritize healing and or emboldening and boosting the tanks, the attackers around me. My brother is very much so. Whenever we would play together, he is absolutely a tank. He is all about doing damage, which means that the one track he didn't take was the healing track, which is referred to as tune-up in this game. So when the two of us go into battle together and I take damage and I'm close to death, there's nothing he can do about it, which is a bummer. But it's okay. We make it through. We find there are different boons you can get throughout the game. When you train these tracks, each attack is referred to as a gag. So, for example, I believe the first two tracks that you start off with in like the tutorial of the game is throw and squirt. And so they are the gags that you would use were you a clown or something of the sort. So throw gags, the level 1 gags are the weakest attacks, and the level 7 gags are the strongest attacks. They go from like a cupcake to a slice of pie to a fruit pie to a banana cream pie to a whole birthday cake, and then the level 7 attack is a full wedding cake attack. It's very, very thrilling because every time you use a level 7 attack, you have to gain 500 points of experience in order to be able to use the level 7 gag again. So anytime someone breaks out a level 7 gag, it is thrilling to see. Yes, so you train all of your tracks, and then eventually you get to a point in the game where you yourself get to start infiltrating the cog headquarters. There are 4 different classes of cogs. There are cell bots, cash bots, law bots, and boss bots. And each of them, they have different headquarters. So cell bots have factories that you have to infiltrate, and the ultimate boss of cell bots is the VP. Cash bots have mints, like coin creation, like currency creation. And I can't remember what the boss of cash bots is off the top of my head. Yeah, and it's funny jokes about like the adult world and like trying to bring in these silly, colorful, joyful attacks in order to break down what is like corporate America. Oh God, I love the concept of this game so very much. So when you go to infiltrate these cog headquarters, you get to build your own cog suits. And much like your own gags, there are different levels or different iterations of these cogs that exist. So, like for example, I think the highest level boss bot there is referred to as the Big Cheese. A mid-level law bot, I believe, is an ambulance chaser. A low-level boss bot is like a flunky. You have, the Minglers. You have Mr. Hollywoods. It is so funny. You have legal eagles that you have to defeat. Just like the creativity that had to go into the creation of this world is something that leaves me in awe regularly. One thing that I particularly love about Toontown Rewritten, as opposed to the Toontown original, Toontown Online, is right before Disney shut down Toontown Online, they had been developing a brand new like arena for attacks, I guess. It's there are buildings on the streets that will sometimes get taken over by cogs, and it's up to you to like protect your neighborhood and the fellow Toons. Toon is what you refer to your PC as. There are also other NPCs who are all Toons. You have to defend and protect yourself and your other Toons from being taken over by the monotony and the gray, drab humdrummery of corporate America. There's something called Toon HQ, Toon Headquarters, which is where your NPCs are that give you tasks or quests to level up your characters. And these are always seen as a safe haven from cogs. No matter what, you can always escape, run away from being attacked. You're safe in Toon Headquarters. However, the thrilling thing that Disney was working on developing that never actually made it to Toontown Online was there would be these like Cellbot takeovers of Toon HQ. So one of these safe havens in the game was suddenly taken over by the strongest, the worst influence that you could possibly find, namely Cogs. Two of the creators behind Toontown Rewritten are Jesse Schnell and Sean Patton, who were original developers of Toontown Online. So in creating Toontown Rewritten, they were able to finally bring to fruition the Cellbot takeovers of Toon HQ. And this was something that was developed during the pandemic. And my brother and I discovered this for the first time, and I think it healed some of the childhood trauma that had existed in my life beforehand. It's, oh my God, it's so thrilling. The way that the atmosphere changes. Oh, that's another beautiful thing about this game. The world building is just iconic. So there is a hub of every location on the map that has a playground. This is, if your Toon ever dies, if you will, if you reach 0 on your hit points or laugh meter, instead of dying, it is referred to as becoming sad. So your character, in becoming sad during combat, is teleported back to the playground. And the playground is where you run around. The currency in-game is jelly beans. So you can collect jelly beans in order to buy more gags. There are also little hit point boosts in the playground that help you recover your hit points more quickly or recover more laugh more quickly. Each playground has its own soundtrack, its own theme, its own color scheme. You begin in Toontown Central. You quickly make your way to, and of course, because it's Disney, Toontown Central is Mickey Mouse, themed, led, inspired. Then you make your way to Minnie's Melody Land. And as a musician, I have to say the store puns are just so incredible. I still, to this day, will be walking around in world, in game, and I will just cackle. I will cackle at the creativity that these creators, oh my God, it's like they put their heart and soul into this entire project. I adore it so much. So you make your way to Minnie's Melody Land, and then you make your way to Daisy Gardens. Oh, pardon me, I skipped Donald's Dock. That's a very important one. Donald's Dock, Minnie's Melody Land, Daisy Gardens. Then you make your way to, I believe, the Burr, which is probably my favorite one. It is Pluto inspired. It is an icy wonderland. I love the orchestration in the soundtrack. It's all MIDI instruments, but it doesn't feel that way. I think the tone of the instruments that they chose are unique and creative and animated enough that it is not abrasive to the ears at all. And then you end, the final playground you get to achieve is Donald's Dreamland. And that's where you find the highest level cogs on the streets outside of the playground. The entrances to Cellbot HQ, Cashbot HQ, Lawbot HQ, and Bossbot HQ are sprinkled throughout these playgrounds and these streets. There are also these kind of neutral zones called Goofy's Speedway if you're into the minigame of racing. There's Chippendale's Acorn Acres where they have mini golf online if you want to take a break from, the actual primary story quest, storyline. They also have fishing available as another kind of minigame. There are also literal minigames in every playground where you can earn more jelly beans, more currency to customize your Toon, buy clothing. There are pets. Oh my God, there are pets. They're called doodles and they have personalities and you can train them. And if they do tricks and you summon them to combat and they do their trick and they perform their trick well, you recover hit points. I love this game. I feel like I'm just going to say that over and over and over throughout this recording, so please forgive me. So that being said, we have the combat, we have the enemies, we have the players. And the last thing I will leave you with is my brother and I, we've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate lately. We both love Dungeons & Dragons very much. But we recently picked up Toontown again, just out of the blue, on a whim. And the final playground is Donald's Dreamland. And notably, on the map, you can find the original map from Toontown Online. There is, when you are discovering the map for the first time, the Fog of War is this fun little cartoon white puffy clouds. And as you discover new playgrounds, the puffy clouds go away and you reveal more and more of the map. In the original Toontown Online, there is a puffy cloud in between, I believe it's either Goofy Speedway or Chippendale's Acorn Acres and Donald's Dreamland. But there is no tunnel there. There's no way to get between those two places. And so it's always just kind of been a mystery. I guess it was maybe at one point in development, but it was the last part of the map. And that's just kind of what it was. I'm not joking when I say I feel like my brother and I are so attuned to the weave. And by weave, I mean like the magic of the Toontown Rewritten universe, that when we went back to Donald's Dreamland, everybody stay calm. This is huge news. Everybody, okay, are we all sitting down? Great. There is a new tunnel that is under construction in Donald's Dreamland. I know. I'm also screaming inside. It's crazy. I truly have no idea what to expect. It is, I am so excited. I am so excited. I feel like 10-year-old Cassidy is peeing herself every day in eager anticipation of discovering what lies at the other end of this tunnel. Is it going to be a new playground? Is it going to be a new series of enemies? Is it going to be a new class of enemies? Is it going to be a new creation of, who knows? Is it a new minigame? Is it a new playground? I don't know. The possibilities are endless. The world is our oyster. I am so enthusiastic about what could possibly be behind the final cloud. That being said, I believe that is all I have to say about the game. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this today. I appreciate you all tremendously, and happy gaming.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, Jim.
You're a fan of the Legion of Superheroes, right?
Yeah, I've been reading their adventures for decades.
Me too. It was tough at first with all the characters, but now I think I'm an expert.
It's not too hard to get into the Legion. And to make it even easier, we have a podcast called Long Live the Legion. We talk about different aspects of all its history to help you out.
So whether you're a new reader in the Legion Academy, or have your own flight ring, or anywhere in between, a Long Live the Legion podcast should be on your playlist.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.